And welcome to Adrenaline in Athletics in Riverside. I'm Pep Fernandez. This is Kyle Glazer for the Week 4 edition of the HSGameTime Live Blitz. As Kyle's, we look to Week 4 of the high school football season. Some great matchups and some league play for one league.
Yeah, the Inland Valley League is getting right underway, and right now it looks like it's a tight race to begin. Before league plays even started, Canyon Springs, Poly, Valley View, all 3-1. Perennial Power, Rancho Verde 2-2. A bunch of teams have shown a lot of good things so far in the non-league season. Arlington and North are both winless. You know that's not going to last very long. The Inland Valley League, I think, might be the most exciting league race we have around. So it's I'm pretty excited to see the first week of league play get underway here in the IVL.
Yeah, the Rancho Verde has been the perennial favorite in the Inland Valley League. But like you said, I mean, looks like wide open. Riverside Poly is back. Canyon Springs is 3-1. You mentioned Arlington and North. They're not going to stay winless for very long. And who am I missing? Oh, Valley View. Valley View's playing pretty well, coming off a big win against Hemet. So we're going to break down the Inland Valley League a little bit later in the show. But maybe the matchup a lot of people are talking about at this point is the Wood Road Rumble. Citrus Hill and King High School are neighbors. About 2 miles separate the two schools. The kids know each other, although they are in different leagues, different cities technically. But there's a lot going into this matchup, including the quarterback switch, which adds some intrigue to the Hawks and Wolves.
Yeah, Citrus Hill and King, a lot of those players played against each other all the way in a middle school. A lot of them have played under each other's coaches even. Brett Hollingsworth was King's starting quarterback the last 2 seasons, transferred to Citrus Hill. Transfers have gone the other way too. TJ Nolan, wide receiver, was at Citrus Hill. He's now at King. Last year, 2 Citrus Hill players transferred to King. So there's a lot of movement between the two schools. So you add you take the proximity. You add the fact that there's some player resentment, some bad blood about players leaving and whatnot. This is definitely a matchup that I think both teams, players and coaches, and just the schools in general alike, are very excited.
And they're both 4-0. They're both undefeated.
King is 3-0.
3-0.
But they're both
Citrus Hill's 4. Yeah,
yes.
They're both undefeated. And as we were talking about, Citrus Hill facing King. I mean, for King, the Hawks might be the best team they see before they get to the Big 8 League, which is very competitive. Some of the best teams in the inland area.
Yeah, you look at a lot of the computer rankings. Citrus Hill, they have them. Cal Preps has Citrus Hill as if they'd be, maybe the 3rd or 4th place team in the Big 8. When you look at Citrus Hill, they have a Division I running back. They have a quarterback who could do a little bit of everything. A lot of athletes on both sides of the ball. Citrus Hill definitely, and the coaching staff is one of the finest, really, in Southern California. So Citrus Hill definitely, could compete, I think, in the Big 8, and a lot of people agree. So for King, this is going to be a great run-up into league play, see how they face it. Even I spoke with Coach Kevin Corden a little bit. He spoke about that. This is going to be a good chance for them to see just where they are heading into the league play.
And for Citrus Hill, they're trying to put together back-to-back undefeated seasons. They won the Eastern Division last year. They lost a very good senior class, but it appears that they're back. I mean, the Hawks are reloaded.
They've had some messy wins, but they're averaging over 50 points and over 500 yards a game. Hollingsworth has stepped right in and filled the shoes of Trevor Hodge at quarterback. They've had some turnovers. They've had some penalties, but they're 4-0. They've won every game by double digits, and it looks like they're getting stronger. That 69-6 plastering of North last week looks like they finally have those mistakes fixed. And King, Riverside Poly was a very good opponent they faced. King might be the best non-league opponent Citrus Hill faces. So really for both of these teams, it's a good way for them to see, where they are heading into league play.
Did you mention Sean Krebs? I didn't hear Sean Krebs yet.
Sean Krebs committed to Washington State last night. King, a senior offensive lineman. Then you also have Dwayne Wallace, who's getting some FCS looks. King has 2 Division I caliber athletes on the line. Not many teams in the inland area can say that. So that's going to be another way Citrus Hill is going to be tested. If King, that big offensive line, is able to dominate and they can hold on to the ball and keep that Citrus Hill offense off the field, some interesting things might happen.
King is big. We know that. Citrus Hill has a lot of great skill guys, so it should be an interesting matchup for these 2 undefeated teams. Big rivalry game, a new rivalry that's building, I guess you could say.
Absolutely.
All right, now let's go on to Carson versus Centennial. Now, the last time the Huskies lost back-to-back games in the same season was 2003. Finding Nemo was #1 in the box office. That was Kyle's favorite movie. And then your favorite song was also #1, 50 Cent, Up in the Club.
Sure.
Was that your favorite song?
No, but we can go with it.
It was a banner year for KG.
Let's put this in real time. Fall of 2003, I was a sophomore in high school. Straight up.
So you might have been watching Finding Nemo or listening to 50 Cent.
I took my little brother to see it. You know what? Creative movie.
It is. It's a great movie. I've seen it a bunch of times. Okay, but that just illustrates the point that Centennial doesn't lose back-to-back games very often. Carson is 0-3. Granted, they've played some good teams, but this is a game that Centennial at home should not lose.
Yeah, Carson's played some really, really strong opponents. We've got Edison from up in Fresno. They've also played Mission Viejo. At the same time, though, Centennial should win this game by a lot. This is one of those games where Centennial has way higher caliber playmakers, higher caliber linemen. This should be, a route, the old-style Centennial route that, we're so used to seeing. I want to see if Centennial's defense can bounce back. They've given up, 35 and 45 points their last 2 weeks. They need a good effort here against a Carson team they should, in theory, be able to hold to 2 touchdowns or less. We need to see if they can do it.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game for them because I think they're going to come out angry. I mean, they don't lose very often. We've seen Long Beach Poly drop a couple games early in the season and battle back. So will this be good for Centennial? We'll talk a little bit later in the show about that because maybe this could be a positive negative for the Huskies. I
want to mention one last thing. Carson, in their 3 games, has been outscored 122-12. That just illustrates Centennial. If they don't win this one big, might be a cause for concern. They should win this one handily.
All right, we want to thank, once again, Adrenaline Athletic Training in Riverside for hosting the HSGameTime Live Blitz. They do it all here, and if you want to move the camera, a lot going on, soccer, basketball. They do the boot camp.
We're doing this broadcast from right around the baseball batting cage area.
Yes, and the head football coach here is Leonard Russell, former Arizona State guy, NFL star. And Kyle, Little Bird told me on my way in that he might have a special treat for you. So you have to wait for that. I just want to get you going and get you a little excited about that. But we are here at Adrenaline. They've got 2 facilities, one in Corona, which we're hoping to get to possibly next week. But we're here in Riverside today, and there's some stuff already going on. It looks like boot camp's about to begin, some basketball and some soccer as well. Yeah, so I'm going to go over there and join David Johnson, former Galaxy guy, and myself. We're going to teach these kids up and show them how to play soccer the right way. So,
all right.
How's that sound?
Works for me.
All right, so the one league kicking off this week is the Inland Valley League. We touched on that a little bit and some of the teams that should be in the mix in terms of the championship. Now, Rancho Verde's opening with Valley View. Now, a lot of people just want to hand the Mustangs the title, but not so fast. A lot of teams are playing very well, and Valley View's one of those teams.
Yeah, Valley View, they've been in the top 10 in the Central Division polls for a couple weeks now. I believe they're number 6 this week. They've won, a lot of their games, pretty handily, but they're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. Abraham Nuno has been very efficient, a good athlete at quarterback. Dan Lyons has very quietly done a real nice job in his first year as the head coach over there at Valley View. Rancho Verde, they're expected to win the league. They're expected to go far in the playoffs, but nothing's automatic. Rancho Verde had a nice bounce-back victory last week, but they've shown they can be vulnerable. They're relying on a lot of juniors, a lot of guys that don't have a ton of experience and are prone to mistakes. So we'll see if Valley View can give them a game. I do think Rancho Verde has to go in as the favorite, but if Valley View were to come in and push them to the brink, I think that could really show us just how good of a team Valley View might be.
Now, we saw Rancho Verde stub their toe on Riverside Poly last season, so it's, I guess, not out of the question that a team like Valley View, who's a good team, could go in there and surprise the Mustangs. Now, that's one of the matchups. Another one is 3-1 Riverside Poly against 3-1 Canyon Springs. Now, I mean, Riverside Poly's off to a great start. We had them on the show. I mean, they're feeling pretty good about it. I think Canyon Springs possibly is going under the radar as, a 3-1 team that's doing very well.
They hung tough with Citrus Hill and probably should have had that game. And right now, Canyon Springs, they're 3-1. I believe in his last 2 games, 22 of 33, 364 yards, 6 touchdowns, only 1 pick. He's firing on all cylinders. You add that Hail Samuelu 1-2 punch in the backfield.
The Inland Valley League could be up for grabs. If one of those teams steps up and knocks off Rancho Verde, it's going to be a free-for-all because there could be a 3-4-way tie. I mean, for first place as we head into the final game on Friday is Vista del Lago and Arlington. Both teams winless, and this could be a game that
actually, Vista del Lago, amazingly, has 2 wins. Vista del Lago's winless, that you almost assume they are. Arlington, they're the winless team here. They got to have this win.
Yeah.
If they can't beat Vista del Lago, the traditional bottom feeder in the league, Arlington's in trouble. Obviously, they should come out fired up. If they don't, the Lions have a problem.
Yeah, the Lions should win this game, taking on Vista del Lago, the Ravens. In the house, we're going to have their head coach as well as some of the players come on in just a moment. But Kyle, let's go on to Great Oak against Chino Hills this Friday. Now, Great Oak, if you look back the last 2 weeks, they beat Rancho Verde in overtime by 1. Then they come back with a dramatic finish to knock off Heritage. those 2 wins have catapulted Great Oak to number 5 in our rankings. So, I mean, that speaks well for what they're doing of late. And, I mean, Chino Hills, could they be next? That's a very good team.
I mean, Chino Hills is number 4 in the Inland Division polls. They're considered a contender to be a semifinalist, no question about it. If Great Oak wins this, I mean, that would be 3 consecutive victories over truly top-tier teams, something I don't think anyone expected out of the Wolfpack this year. This could really be a game where Great Oak says, we are for real. Now, Great Oak has allowed 41 points per game. They allowed 42 to Rancho Verde and 40 to Heritage, so they're going to get scored upon. Chino Hills' defense is pretty good. I believe they have 11 sacks and 19 pass deflections this year, so they're not easy, but Great Oak has shown they can beat really good teams before. Chino Hills, because they're an Inland Division power as opposed to a Central Division power, is probably the best team they're going to face in the non-league season. It'll also be a good gauge for them heading into very tough Southwestern League play.
Yeah, Great Oak, our preseason number 2, I believe, in the Southwestern League when we did our league previews in the newspaper. So, you know, they played a tough Carlsbad team, I think, in their opener, and Carlsbad has some D1 guys on there, so I think they lost like 36-7 or something like that.
41-17, yeah.
41-17,
it wasn't
okay.
pretty, but, you know, Great Oak has shown they're getting better. And just to clarify, I confused my Chino Hill stats with another team's stats, but Chino Hill's still 9 sacks, 6 turnovers forced. They have 24 tackles for a loss. They can get into the backfield, so Great Oak, their offensive line is going to be tested here.
All right, we're going to bring Pete McGowan on, if you can get him down here on the set and talk little Notre Dame football. Now, the Titans have a huge game coming up. They're taking on Aquinas, right? And not in the same league, but huge rivalry that goes way back. And
No, it's going to be at RCC, so you got that big, nice junior college stadium out there, so it'll definitely be a good, exciting matchup.
And we've also got some of the guys. We're going to talk to them in just a moment, but let's bring in Pete McGowan, head coach of Notre Dame, the pride of the Titans here. And Coach, now I'm not good at memorizing, but 3-1, right? You guys are 3-1 to start the season.
Yes,
just talk about your start.
We came off. We had a very good start. We're very excited about the offense. As the second year we're running it. We wanted to become more balanced this year. We have been able to do that. Now we can run the ball and also throw the ball, so that makes us more versatile. We are bigger, faster, and stronger than we were last year, so I think that's what's contributing to our success. And we're more united in the off season. You know, I took the kids up to Idlewild to campgrounds, and we bonded a little bit and got together. And I think all those things made us more successful in the season.
Coach, so you have a lot of guys putting up big numbers. Who do you think's maybe taken the biggest step forward from last year to this year?
I would say probably Paul Bradvicka and Anthony McMasters, and actually Wesley. Wesley was a freshman last year, did really well on the JV team, scoring 23 touchdowns. But what could he really do with varsity? And now I think he's ranked either 8 or 9 with 7 touchdowns. He's got bigger, faster, and stronger. Paul Bradvicka got a better understanding of the offense and how to read it. And Anthony McMasters is just completely bigger, faster, and stronger, where maybe he would have been tackled by arm tackles last year or brought down. Now it takes 2 or 3 guys to bring him down. So I think all those guys have made significant strides this year.
And your defense as well. I believe you guys are only allowing about 13.5 points per game, so they're doing well on that side of the ball too.
Yeah, I started talking to Derek Johnson, who when he was at CMI, and we built a relationship. And he was at La Sierra last year, but I brought him on the staff as my defensive coordinator. And other than having the big freshman class we had last year, that's given us depth. And we brought in adrenaline that helped us become bigger, faster, and stronger. And it's funny you mentioned the defense. We're starting 7 sophomores on that defense, and so I think we're just going to keep getting better and better.
All right, Coach, you brought a couple players over. We're going to pass it over to Pep Fernandez. Pep, who do we have representing Notre Dame?
Well, Kyle, we know these guys, but let's go ahead and get their names. Go ahead.
Anthony McMaster.
Paul Bradvicka.
Wesley Smith.
All right, Wes, Paul, and Anthony. 3 of the key players from Notre Dame, 3-1 so far to start the season. Huge game against Aquinas down at RCC. So, Anthony, what's it going to take for you guys to pull off a huge victory and continue this great start for you guys this season?
Well, defensively, I think we just got to hit them the way we've been hitting teams this year. And offensively, we're going to need a good balance, which we've been working on. And I think we got both of those things ready.
What about even going back to last season? Do you see like a huge change between last year's Notre Dame team and this year's?
Yeah, I think we're a lot more of a team this year. We trust each other a lot more. We're a lot more of a brotherhood, and I think that's really helped us as a team.
Now, I hope everyone at home is looking at 2, actually the top receiver quarterback duo in the inland area in terms of putting up yardage. And Paul Bradfica, the quarterback for the Titans, Paulie Guaps, if you want to call him that at home. So, Paul, just talk about what you and Anthony have done on offense, putting up some huge numbers right now, and that's a big key to your success so far this season.
Well, we've just basically trusted our offense and really worked hard in the offseason, getting bigger, faster, and stronger, and just working on our routes, timing, and everything, and it's really turned out well this season.
You're a golfer as well. Are you a golfer and then a football player, or a football player and then also a golfer?
Depends what season you're talking to me in.
That's the right answer.
I'm a football player right now, strictly football.
All right.
That's not true.
No golf on game days. And then Wes, last game you had the key punt return right for the touchdown to put you guys over the top at Xavier Prep. Just talk about going through that last play and and leaving that game with a big victory.
Well, I believe that I had to do something to straighten these things out because we were going through a hard time through the whole game, putting our heads down. So I picked my teammates up and I picked myself up eventually. So I put in a big play. It was really good. It was great.
When you broke loose for that touchdown, I mean, how good did that feel? Because you knew you guys were going to improve to 3-1. I think there was about 2 minutes left, so the game was pretty much in the bag, assuming your defense would stand up.
It felt amazing running down. I was like, I can't believe this is happening in my eyes. But then I was like, we give it our defense another chance, so it was good. It's really good.
All right, and back to you, Paul. Throw out a number. How many points do you think it's going to take to beat Aquinas? You guys can pile up the points, that's for sure, because you two guys are two of the best in the area. I mean, 30 points, 28 points. I mean, what do you think it's going to take to beat Aquinas?
I'd say 35.
35?
35, 42, that's our goal.
Right in that ballpark?
Yeah, right in that ballpark.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And Anthony, what's it been like, with Paul here, and you guys have teamed up to be a great duo, receiver, quarterback. I mean, putting up the points, you feel like you guys are clicking and everything's going pretty well on offense for Notre Dame?
Yeah, it's great. We had good chemistry last year, and this year it's only gotten better. And now with our ability to run the ball, it's just opened up our offense completely. So, I'm excited.
Do you guys know the Aquinas players at all? You guys, friends or?
I know a couple of them. This one of them, I think he's like number 99, Joseph Cortez. I think that's his name. He's like one of my good friends. That's the only person I know on Aquinas.
So you're going to blow past him and score a touchdown, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
All right, Wes Smith, Paul Bradfica, Anthony McMaster, three of the best in the inland area. Let's go back to one of the finest coaches wearing green and yellow with Kyle Glazer, Mr. Pete McGowan.
So, Coach, Pep and your players talked about a little bit. Aquinas, they're 3-0, always a very good team. What do you guys have to do to come out on the winning end on Friday?
We got to play penalty-free football. We got to play sound. We've been a Fontana coaching program, so there's a lot of continuity that you got to go against. So this task is not small at all. We're just going to try to play as sound and as hard as we can, and just do the best we can.
You guys took on another very good Christian school in Linfield Christian a few weeks ago. Came out on the.
In that game, we had about 3 touchdowns called back, and we played pretty physical, and we still put 400 yards on the ground. So it was kind of weird. It's like we lost, but we felt like we've gotten better. And when teams are trying to be physical, we match up pretty well with.
And then one final thing, you heard some of your players talk about what they feel like they need to do to win. Do you have specific goals in mind for the upcoming game in terms of numbers, or do you just want to see a certain style of play?
A certain style of play. Definitely how we play this game. Obviously, Aquinas is a very football team, but so is Rim on the World, and so is Rupa Hills, and so is Citrus and Banning, and even Rubidoux. So it doesn't get any easier. So, this is our tenacity as a team.
All right, Notre Dame head coach Pete McGowan, 3-1 for the Titans so far to start the season, and a huge game at RCC this Friday, taking on Aquinas. Thank you, Coach, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Good luck on Friday.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach. All right, and you know what, Kyle, if you look at the Mountain Valley, there's a lot of good teams there. Banning, Rim of the World, Harupa Hills figures to be in the mix. Rubidoux's in there. There's a lot of good teams. This is not a cakewalk for any team in the Mountain Valley.
Not at all. Rim of the World and Harupa Hills have both had their turn as the #1 ranked. One of the better teams they're going to play all year, league play included. So this could be a good barometer for them to see.
Now now looking at that, it looks like a very quality win on the road for Notre Dame last week. All right, before we had Notre Dame on, we were talking about Great Oak and the role they've been on the last couple wins for them against very good teams, and they've catapulted into the HSGameTime top deal to Alemany. And then after that, Murrieta Valley, Citrus Hill, Great Oak at 5, Roosevelt, Heritage, San Gorgonio, Paloma Valley, and
They had their best win of the season and dropped because you had to put Great Oak up there. Eisenhower was 3-0, didn't play about who deserves to go where, and there's some teams that are probably a little frustrated of talent, all that much. We talked about it. Vista, Murrieta, and Centennial are 1-2. After that, I mean, it's very, if my colleagues don't, we're going to have a word.
All right, so we're actually going to talk about the game in just a moment, but the number 1 team right now in the HSGameTime rankings is Vista Murrieta.
The same street as my alma mater, Torrey Pines, about 2 miles down the road. It's kind of like Citrus Hill and King.
The big rivalry. So Torrey Pines and Cathedral Catholic, do they play each other?
Not so much, different divisions, but it's the same general idea. A lot of guys who know each other.
So the Broncos have rolled so far. I mean, Colton Gerhardt, adding them to the Broncos like a well-oiled machine. They really haven't skipped a beat. They thought there might be a learning curve maybe to get to know
Not
each
at
other.
all.
No, they've been flying. So, but Cathedral Catholic may be their toughest test yet. I mean, do you expect a close game, or the Vista Murrieta is just going to keep this thing going?
Last year Vista Murrieta beat Cathedral 14, so a top-tier program that produces D1 guys left and right. This year's Cathedral team isn't totally loaded, but they're going to be well prepared. They're 2-1. They beat a good Torrey Pines team. They beat one of Utah's best teams. They played Helix, really in a state championship caliber program. They lost to them 21-16, so that was a close game. I think Cathedral can test Vista Murrieta. The Broncos are the favorite. They should be the favorite. I think that they are expected to win this game. Mm-hmm. But like I said in the Pick'em show, if Cathedral wins, I wouldn't consider it a colossal upset where no one saw it coming. Vista Murrieta is going to have to play very clean, good football to win this game. As long as they do, they should win, but it's not a guarantee by any stretch.
And this is a matchup they've had the last couple of years. Playoff time, 2 teams that can score a lot of points. We've seen Blake Barnett, the quarterback for the Sharks, put up a lot of touchdowns. They're going strong right now after a couple shootout losses to start the season. So how do you
win the season to really good teams? 2 bounce-back wins. They both have 2 great junior quarterbacks, Blake Barnett at Santiago, Tyler Helinski at Upland. Once again, 2 programs who have a close game. I expect it to be the same this year. I mean, these are 2 teams who are, they're not quite at the Centennial, Vista Murrieta level, but they're right below it. We already mentioned toss the winner of this game.
And if my memory serves me correct, I think there was some sort of a goal line stand in last year's game where Santiago thought they had punched it in, and the ref said they were a couple inches short.
Game
of inches, yes.
Down to the wire. I expect the same thing this
they did on the field. And Carter coming off a big loss to Chaparral. I think it was a 34-0. So they need to bounce back.
They do. Mike Clark, when he took over as Eisenhower's coach, said his first priority was winning the Rialto City Championship. Not Citrus Belt League, not any CIF titles, city rivals. Carter won this game last year, but these are 2 very different teams. I think Carter's talent level on paper is down a little bit. Eisenhower's talent level on paper is up a little bit. This is going to be a real tough matchup. Both teams are going to be better for it, no matter win or lose.
Carter's talented, but very young. Eisenhower last year maybe snuck up on some people when they won a co-share championship of the Citrus Belt League title, but I think this time around, people know that Ike is back, and they're playing some pretty good football.
Years and years, through all the different coaches, bleeds green, Mike Clark, his players know him and love him and respect him. I'm not surprised that Ike is 3-0 with, 3 very solid, easy wins.
And bring them on, talk a little bit more about adrenaline athletic training. Hosting our show live, there's some boot camp, basketball, soccer, a lot of stuff going on. But before we do that, we brought the Notre Dame helmet down here for a reason, Kyle, to play everyone's favorite game. Let me mix these all up for you. I'll draw one for you first.
Okay.
In no particular order. All right. Let's see. So for
because those losses humbled them. It showed them that just because they're Centennial, they can't just walk into any field against any opponent and expect to win. They're going to have to be on point. Knows that they have a lot of work to do, that this isn't another Centennial 14-0, 15-0 team. And I think that'll be good for them in the long run through Big 8 league play as well as come playoff time.
I could get with that. A positive loss. Even. And did you notice I printed the font
a little bit
bigger for you? Okay, you're welcome.
So, Pat, tell me why King can beat Citrus Hill.
Oh, man. Okay. Citrus Hill does have the skill, guys. But I think in terms of preparing for Big 8 League play, the closest thing they'll see to a Centennial or a Santiago will be Citrus Hill. So I think maybe in their mind, like gearing up for Big 8 League play, they're thinking, we got to be competitive. We got to possibly beat Citrus Hill to prove to ourselves that when we get to Big 8 League action, we're not going to get walked over by Norco and then come out with some fury and some energy and some confidence, and they're going to beat Citrus Hill, and they're going to feel real good about Big 8 League play just around the corner. And at least definitely have the home field advantage on their side, even though I'm sure Citrus Hill folks don't have very far to travel to go to that game either. But there's my case to tell you why King will win that one.
All right.
All right.
Have a program that has so much turnover, coaches, players, as well as some things that have shook their confidence a little bit as a program. I'm not surprised they're off to a slow start. And they've also been playing some pretty good teams. Rancho Cucamonga, they're building. And I think there's no way they're going to, finish the season 3-7. And this isn't just a tell me why thing. I truly believe this. There's been an adjustment period. They're going through it. They're going to continue to get better, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, you got to remember.
And anytime you have so much turnover and so much turmoil, it takes a little bit. You're not just going to come out week one and be ready to go right off the bat. They're taking these non-league games, figuring themselves out. The defense is actually, played okay. So once the offense gets going and Norco finds itself, they'll be fine.
All right, one last one in the Tell Me Why game. Put the Notre Dame helmet back up here. This thing's huge.
Pep.
Yes.
Tell me why Elsinore will win back-to-back games against Southwestern League teams and defeat Murrieta Valley on Friday.
Oh, man. Okay, nothing against Temecula Valley, but Murrieta Valley is kind of a different animal in terms of knocking off a Southwestern League team. Tommy Wilson wears number 22, and he's the quarterback. Is that cool, Kyle?
That is cool.
That is cool. He wears number 22 field, and you can never count out Shane Pico. The guy's a hard runner. I mean, he's had some incredible runs. The guy keeps churning his legs, picking up yards. I think for, I'm not reinventing. I think they can keep it close, and if you keep it close, they've got a chance to win. So give it to Pico, give it to Gigliomana, and let number 22 Tommy Wilson just control the game, manage it, and don't give Murrieta Valley a chance to beat you. So
I would also add, I'm never counting out a Tony Peralta coach team.
State went to the National Football League. And we had you on last week. Your Rabbits beat my Drillers, but we'll drop that and we'll move on. But I guess you have a little something for Kyle here, right?
I think a memento, something for him to be able
Whoa!
to flash in front of people. So it's a Leonard Russell Arizona State jersey, and I signed it for him.
Oh my
gosh!
So I thought
Whoa!
that would be something that he would appreciate.
Yeah!
I'm speechless.
Yeah, he's shedding a tear right now.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Wow. As soon as the show's off, I'm giving you a big hug. Wow. Thank you so much. This is incredible.
Now you played for the Patriots. Can you get me like a Tom Brady autographed jersey?
We'll work on that.
Fair enough. So Leonard, last week we had the boot camp, soccer and basketball. I mean, this place is always cracking. There's lots of activity here. So what's going on here tonight at Adrenaline?
What you see going on behind us is we got boot camp, our adult fitness boot camp, and we also have soccer going on with our soccer coach, David Johnson. And then we also have basketball going on in the background on the basketball court, and also performance, speed and agility classes here.
Now, do you train a lot of the high school football players in the area? Do they come here for like private sessions?
We do mobile training for them, so we actually go to Notre Dame and train their football team.
Well, they're 3-1. Now it makes sense. You guys have been training them.
That's right. That's right. That's adrenaline work, coming to fruition. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard Coach even give you guys some credit. When a football coach and a football
become stronger, help with their overall speed and agility, their flexibility, their core, and their functional movement. So we just want to make that team a faster team, a stronger team, so that in the fourth quarter they can put some other teams around.
And we've seen some soccer players actually make the transition to football. Did that happen very often in your day, Leonard?
Not very often. I didn't realize how big soccer was actually until I started training at Adrenaline. Right now we're in the process of training the AYSO soccer team. So David goes out and do mobile training for them, and then we bring their kids in and do speed and agility for them. But the movements are the same. As far as the change of direction and the acceleration that you need.
These guys are setting these kids up not just for success on the football field, but really all athletic fields.
Oh, absolutely. Especially our younger athletes. When you look at our kids today in society, when I grew up, you used to go outside and used to see kids doing a lot of things outside. They used to play outside, pick up football games, riding their bikes or big wheels or jumping off the curb. So a lot of things that we had back in the day.
The deal. The proof is in the pudding. Notre Dame's 3-1. They got some training with Leonard Russell and the crew here at Adrenaline. They're off to a great start. I mean, the result, that's what it's about, right? Results.
Well, we can come in and we can teach these athletes the fundamentals of how to lift, the correct way of how to lift. We also incorporate nutrition. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from going to talk to 30 universities across the country is that nutrition is 80% of it. So if we've given these kids the right ingredients.
You want to thank Leonard one more time?
Thank you so much. I got to throw this thing up to show the world.
I haven't seen Kyle speechless like this since I got him the Backstreet Boys collection set on DVD.
I'm in shock. I'm trying to look at the camera, but I can't keep just looking at this thing.
Listen, I tried to get his spirits up because our Sun Devils had a work.
When we beat USC this weekend, that's right. I said it on Saturday. We're beating USC.
Whoa.
I will be wearing this.
Yeah, we're a little bit mad right now from last week.
Listen, Cody Kessler's my. Listen, I'm not a USC guy, but Cody Kessler's my boy.
But really, jersey for the rest of the
we got to teach them the way of the sun.
That's right.
You guys are home, right?
We are
for this one.
We are at home. Yes, we are.
It's in the House of Heat.
Get it.
Thank you so much.
The job you guys are doing, man. Great job. Keep up the good work.
All right. Well, man, Leonard gave you an autographed Arizona State jersey. I can't wait to see what he's going to give me. It's going to be really great. So
I know if you don't start rooting for Arizona State, you're not going to get much.
I know he's going to give me a lump of coal for pulling for USC. It's really for you. It says to Kyle. He can't take it back now. He already wrote it to you. So
Yeah.
Very awesome. All right, Kyle, before we get out of here, let's pick our Adrenaline Athlete of the Week. Some guy on Friday night that you think is just going to step his...
Had two very tough losses, big losses. Right now they're gonna on Friday go face Orange Lutheran. Mark Nielsen, their quarterback, I think he's going to step up and get Redlands East Valley back on the winning track.
All right, I think I'll go with Corey Young, the running back at Norco. Like we talked about, they're not going to finish 2-8, 3-7. This is a much better team than that. The change in the offseason, yes, there's going to be some, gradual learning as they get, a new system. They're going back to the smash mouth, run the ball, play some defense. So I think Corey Young, if they can feed him the ball in the, they've been that one team to actually push Centennial in Big 8 league play. Whether they can do it this season, with the Gerhardts gone or not, I don't know. But I think they're going to get a big win against Lucerna on Friday, and Corey Young's going to step up and really lead that ground attack and help them get a victory. So that's my Adrenaline Athlete of the Week. All right, David Johnson from the LA Galaxy is going to join us right now on the HSGameTime Live Blitz. Now, he's a soccer player,
so David,
but we're going to let you on the show anyways.
How are you, man?
Good, man. I'm doing great. So, DJ.
What's up?
So Kyle and I were talking. There's been several star high school football players who are actually soccer.
In American soccer, it's not like football or baseball or basketball. We have to compete against those other big sports. So once that transition hits, then they got to decide. So it's hard for them to pick what sport they like, in a way. It's not like South America or Brazil or Europe where they start off with soccer and
you're just groomed to do soccer. Yeah,
they go.
Yeah.
That's their mold.
I was speaking with Notre Vista. They have a wide receiver named Victor Gonzalez who had never really played football a day in his life, shows up and gets himself a scholarship as a wide receiver to Nevada. He was a top flight.
Once that happens, it's hard to. It's hard to go. It's hard to go off that. It really is. So. I plead the fifth on that one.
Then obviously soccer here it is growing. I remember a lot of kids.
Inland Empire, there's so many, especially AYSO. There's just for this region, there's about 4,000 kids, and that's not just Riverside, but San Bernardino, Redlands, Corona, all around Southern California. California is probably, besides Texas or up north, is one of the biggest soccer states, and which is a great.
That far, with the leagues and season coming up, are you seeing a larger number of kids coming in seeking training?
Yeah, there are, especially right now. Since there's only 2 months left, the class sizes have gotten a lot bigger, which is good. And comparing Riverside to Corona, having Corona a little bit closer to, it's been open for 6 years. I think this is really the foundation of what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish here. So.
Hey, DJ, can I jump in here? You guys have the finest coaches in all the inland area. But I see Leonard Russell back here trying to play soccer. You go ahead and take a look. I mean, he's really trying. I mean, you stepped out to join us here on the show, but
I've taught him a little bit how to juggle on his shoulder. So if I don't know if we can get him to try to do that.
teach Leonard soccer. You can teach anybody soccer here at Adrenaline.
I can say that. I don't know.
Look at him.
He's a beast, so, you know, I can't.
Could you imagine him as like a sweeper, like someone on defense? I mean, what would he? Yeah.
Yeah.
4-5. Yeah, probably 4-5. Yeah.
Zip by this.
Big, fast, and powerful. It's a good combination.
It's like a train, you know.
Open Cup as well, huh?
US Open Cup, yeah.
Oh, this guy's done it all.
That was awesome. So great experience. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything else?
Oh, David Zink. So, I mean, someone had to do it, right?
Can I complete my fifth and get on that?
Yeah. Capri Suns after the game. I mean,
Rice Krispie treats.
Rice Krispie treats as well.
I'm going to say Landon and Kobe Joe.
And DJ here at Adrenaline Athletic Training, breaking it down. You know, it's Lorenzo Cabrera is another one of those high school football players who is a soccer guy who made the transition. Good at
once you especially get to the varsity high school level, pick that one sport. But a lot of times we see these guys who play multiple sports, they're able to adjust a little better. I've seen it develop that strength throughout your body. Now we're seeing football and soccer, you know, even though it's hard to play in the same calendar year because there's a little bit of overlap come November. I mean, you're really looking at a situation where the ability to move in space.
He was a great soccer player. I wonder if he would have stuck with soccer, if he would be going Division I as well somewhere.
The stories I hear is that he was...
Week 4 edition of the HS Game Time Live Blitz. Kyle and I will be back next Wednesday. The Inland Valley, which starts this Friday. Kyle, any parting words as we take a look at your beautiful Arizona State jersey, as well as the Notre Dame Titans, 3-1 to start the season. We'll see you next Wednesday live at 5:30. I'm Pep Fernandez. This is Kyle Glazer. We'll do it again next week.